Hello there, and welcome to the news review on Unilag TV. The air we breathe stands as a fundamental component of life, yet, regrettably, it faces a quiet adversary: air pollution. These far-reaching environmental concerns present a significant peril to not only our health but also the integrity of ecosystems and the stability of our climate. A research paper from February 2022 starkly highlighted that if climate emissions continue unchecked, almost 200 heritage sites in Africa could encounter extreme events, including flooding and erosion, by the year 2050. Apart from road transportation, a leading contributor to air pollution, Nigeria grapples with numerous other sources of air contamination. These include, but not limited to, inadequate waste management practices, instances of open burning, and illegal waste disposal. These factors compound the issue, especially in a country where a high density of old vehicles and limited transportation alternatives further contribute to the challenge. Today, we will be looking at the need for clean air, and to have that discussion and more on this onto this program is an environmental and analytical chemist whom I'll introduce to you right after this break. I am Vina Peters. We'll be right back. Welcome back. If you just joined in, it's the news review on Unilag TV, and do follow us across all social media platforms at Unilag on TV. Earlier, I said we will be discussing the need for clean air, and I have with me in the studio Dr. Rose Alani, an environmental and analytical chemist who is a faculty member of the Department of Chemistry, University of Lagos, whose focus is on environmental pollution monitoring. Welcome to the program, Dr. Alani.
Thank you very much, Vina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that air pollution is actually very, very significant. Please, can you please talk to us about the significance of air pollution and why?
Air pollution is really very important and really key in every aspect in human lives, even in the environment. In short, every aspect of human life can be impacted by air pollution. Air pollution, we've been told, we know from researches that it causes a lot of deaths, untimely death, premature death, and morbidity, talking of affecting health, putting people in the hospital, and also affecting the ecosystem, affecting the climate change. I think in the course of the discussion we will reach there. Global warming, affecting agriculture, affecting food, ending up in human insecurity, ending up in conflicts, you'll be surprised that air pollution can lead to a lot of conflicts, and it's actually the source, the reason for so many conflicts that we're having, even in Nigeria and in many parts of the world.
Okay, so what exactly are the health implications of air pollution?
Mostly respiratory implications, health effects. So, and it affects mostly the children and the elderly. So, respiratory effects like asthma, difficulty in breathing, even affects education, mental development, in short, from the head to the toe, every aspect, every part of the body is affected by air pollution. Reproductive system also is affected. Even the fetus right inside the womb before delivery, it's also affected. And there's so many negative health effects depending on the particular air pollutant that one is exposed to. Different air pollutants carry different health effects. We have the gaseous air pollutants, we have the particulate pollutants. They carry different health effects, and in short, they cover the whole part of the body. Cancer is related, heart attack is related, even diabetes. So air pollution is actually a menace that we should combat.
Okay. In 2011, the WHO actually reported a life expectancy of 53 years, while the global average was 70 years. Now, how does air pollution come into play, and has that situation changed over the years?
Yes, that report, I believe, is correct, because if we look at the pollution level we had years back and comparing to what we have now, the difference is really great. And there's a particular study I carried out with some other researchers looking at the pollution level in 2002, comparing also to 2020. That's 18 years gap. And we saw a huge difference. A huge difference if you want to look at the air quality index, where you have, with colors showing the different concentrations. In 2002, we had like green all through, but in 2020, getting up to the red and so on. I think maybe in the course of this, we'll still discuss those air quality index colors. So it's the difference in concentration is really very high in the environment. So the exposure level is also really very high because of some factors. I don't know if you want me to...
Please.
Okay.
Yes, please.
All right. You can see population increase. I want to use Lagos as an example. In 2011, and then if you compare the population in 2011 to what we have now, it's really great. It's much. We're talking of 24 or 22, 20 million thereabouts of people in Lagos compared to about 200 or so in the whole country. And you can see the size of Lagos compared to the whole country. And you see the industrialization, the development that is taking place, the rates of population increase, people moving into Lagos in search of greener pastures, and so on. And so with the population increase, the activities, of course, that lead to emission of pollutants into the environment also increase along with it. because we're using more products. And you can look at power, the use of power generators. You have more people and you need more power. Looking at the situation in Nigeria, that we have serious epileptic power supply, I want to look at that source of air pollution, because we have several sources. So if we have two people, I mean, let's say we have 10 families, I mean 10 homes in a place, and each home has a generating plant. It's different from when we have 200 people in that same size of area. Of course, you know, the number of generating plants will increase. And the pollutants that are coming out of that, because of the fuel that we use, the incomplete combustion, the pollutants that are coming out are really deadly. We have like carbon monoxide, we have nitrogen dioxide, we have sulfur dioxide, we have the particulate matters of different sizes, and the one of the critical size that is really very, very dangerous to health, the PM2.5, is also there. So all these are coming out from the generating plant. So if you have few people, few activities, and need for few resources, you cannot compare that when you have larger population. And so increase in population is one particular key factor. Between that 2011 and now, and I've told you that air pollutants come with negative health effects, apart from other effects, environmental effects, which we might also talk of in the course of this discussion. So the negative health effect at a low concentration cannot be compared to the effect at higher concentration. So looking at 2011 and now, the difference is clear. Definitely, the life expectancy is affected because air pollution is very, very deadly.
All right. So we're still on WHO. Now, what are the air quality standard that WHO has set?
In the time past, 2005, the standards were not as high as it is now. What I mean by high is that the exposure, the concentration then were high. Like, for instance, PM2.5, which is the key particulate matter of concern, then it was like 45 micrograms per cubic meter. Then, because that level at that in 2005, the WHO guideline, the standard, was not really protecting much lives as it should, because the concentrations were still affecting people. And so in 2021, September, WHO came up with a stricter standard and reduced the concentration levels. For PM2.5, now for a year, when you're looking at the standards, you will look at it within a particular period of time. So for a year now is 5 micrograms per cubic meter, and for 24 hours is 15 micrograms per cubic meter. So, and then for PM10, that's another one. Then it was higher in 2005, but it is brought down now to 15 micrograms per cubic meter for a year, and 45 micrograms per cubic meter for 24 hours. And that 24 hours, that is for daily, is within, if it remains that way for 3 to 4 days, that's what is looked at, within 24 hours for 3 to 4 days. So But anything that is higher than that is not accepted. So now that you see that the level is brought down to 5, it means we have to work towards reducing the concentration in the environment to 5, unlike before that we could work towards reducing it to 15. So you can see now that reducing it now to 5 is protecting health much more. So that's the essence of the new WHO standard.
Okay, we know that right here in Lagos there are a whole lot of people, and when I say places as well, where I would say that people are living in dumpsters. Now, let's take a good look at I think it's Ojota, if I'm not mistaken.
Olusosun dump site, Ojota.
Good.
Yes.
So, for people living around that area, what do you think can be done?
That area is not safe. It's not safe to live there. That's what I would say, first of all. For too many reasons. Pollutions in all media. What I mean is both in water, the groundwater that will come out from there, both on land, the vegetables and so they could plant there, the air also. So at that site, that place, I don't recommend anybody to live there for now. So, and someone might think, oh, should they be using
Nose
nose mask and so on at that place? No, and even the nose mask also has its own effect. Yes, because, we breathe in oxygen, breathe out carbon dioxide. So the nose mask also could, stuff the carbon dioxide back. So if one wears it for a long time during that COVID period, some people, collapsed. Because, carbon dioxide is not something you should take in. So if you wear it, in short time, you remove it. So if you stay there, wear it and remove, and you will see getting it. So, and that's the essence for monitoring air quality in the cities, like mega cities in Lagos, for instance. That's the essence of monitoring air quality. So you will know where you should live and where you shouldn't. You will know the road you should take at any time, where and what, and so where you can avoid, pollutants and so on. So it's really not advisable for one to live there. I believe people are living there because of lack of awareness. I will not live there.
All right, it's still the news review on UNILAG TV. We'll go on a quick break, and when we return, we will be looking at the measures to take in order to have a clean air. We'll be right back. Welcome back. It's still the news review on Unilag TV, and I still have Dr. Alani with me on the program. Yeah, it's actually very interactive, actually speaking with you. Okay, let's still talk about this particular air pollution. So, we said we're going to talk about how we can actually look at the measures to actually get clean air in our society. Now, as an environmental pollution expert, monitoring expert, now what are the measures to be taken in order for us to be able to combat air pollution?
Okay, there are several measures that should be taken. Taking into consideration that already an environment that is already polluted, something should be done to handle the pollution that is already present in the air, and also something should be done to avoid more emissions.
Exactly.
And so, to control or to reduce what's already present in the air, we need to plant a lot of trees, because tree is capturing carbon dioxide and making use of it for the photosynthesis and so on. And not just carbon dioxide, the carbon that is generated in different forms from the emission. So the tree will capture that, and the more trees we plant, and more we're able to, take in, remove the carbon from the air. And I see some places, there's a place I had a lot of trees planted, I don't want to mention it, and some people went and just cleared off those trees. And the people there that planted it purposely because of air pollution. And then people went to clear it off because maybe they want to construct some buildings and so on. And so that's not really okay. So God has a reason for creating us and putting us in the garden and say, term this garden, and then, yes, he did not say clear it off because it's useful. So, and that is it. So that's one aspect, to control what is happening. Another aspect is for us to change our habits. And the main thing that can help us to change our habit is awareness. So if you're aware, one is aware that if I take this, if I do and carry out this activity, I'm going to end up emitting some pollutants, which will, in turn affect me, affect my children, can cause my children's death, and so on. They have that awareness, they will change some activities, like indiscriminate burning of waste and some other things, improper waste management, and so on. Even generators, putting them by the door of the room, like in those so, and then it will be sipping the smoke inside. And there's been a lot of instances where people died because of that, and they wouldn't know, and they might attribute that death to something else, but it's actually air pollution. So if people are aware, we need to create awareness for people to be aware, and then they will mind the activities that they're involved in. And also, the government also has to come to help us in making policies to control the activities in the industries, in the whole environment, what people are doing. So policies have to be put in place to control this. And it is not possible at all to put any policy in place without evidence. And that evidence is nothing but data. So you bring out the data and you can compare with the standard that once it passes this is what and what health effect it will cause to the people that are exposed to them. And so when the policymakers see how far away the data you're bringing is from the standard, and then what such health effects could be, and also going to the hospital to see that most of the people around there are having that particular health uh, health effect. So then policymakers will make policy that will affect that particular place and the source of the emission. So that's how to control. And then one main one that I strongly believe that in this Nigeria, if we're able to handle that aspect of having good power supply that doesn't need any of us using generators, that will cut off so much air pollution. Yes, we look at it that air pollution is really the World Bank project some time back gave a report that vehicular source is the highest source of emission of air pollutants in Lagos. Yes, it is. But if you look at generating plants, I see it as higher. Because, yes, we have a lot of vehicles in Lagos, but in the daytime, you will have a lot of them, and in some particular spots, you have a lot of them at a time. Then, in the night, there are certain times in the night that you might not find any vehicle on the road. Yeah. That means at that time, everywhere is calm. It's just what was there in the air before that is still circulating. Nothing else is coming up. But when you look at generating plants, in the night, it is 24 hours. Anytime, anyone can put it on. Look at the situation now in the country, fuel price and everything. Well, people still have to manage. And you still have to have your food, preserved. And so you will still have to put on the generator. So if we have alternative source of power in the country, it will help so much. Alternative source that is clean.
Okay.
Yes. So it will help a lot.
Okay, so in light with recent events in our economic situation as it regards the PMS, okay, so now what initiatives are government bodies now actually undertaking to make sure that these pollutants are turned into valuable resources?
In that case, we're looking at solid waste management. Because that's where you will see something tangible that you will now use and maybe recycle. So the government of Nigeria, the agencies that are in charge are actually doing something and taking some steps. For instance, NESRA, which is the Environmental Standards and Regulations Enforcement Agency in Nigeria, they're taking steps regarding plastic waste right now, looking at trying to bring out some regulations to control plastic waste. So we're not looking at only plastic waste, other solid waste. We have e-waste and so on. So the government is looking at how to apply the actual means of proper waste management, which is reduce, reuse, recycle. You reduce the generation of the waste. You want to go to market, you don't keep buying plastic here and there. Maybe you just use one and buy and then take it back and keep. So you don't just litter everywhere with plastic. So you reduce and also reuse. That's, yes. And then when you cannot reduce, it has to still go to waste. When you cannot reuse, it still has to go to waste. The only thing there is now recycling. And so if we can look at those reduce, reuse, and recycle and follow that, not just leaving it for the government, for it to start from us. For instance, if I go to market and I like eating vegetables and I want to buy vegetable, with my idea of reduce, reuse, and recycle, I could carry my bag, a bag that I can use and use again. and I go there and buying vegetable. Instead of me just taking the vegetable all like that, I would tell them, please plug it for me. They will plug it, and the sticks, they will keep it there where they will dispose. I believe the waste collectors will collect it in the appropriate place around the market. So I don't bring it home to come and burn somewhere. So I've reduced. I just come back home with my vegetables, which I will just wash and cook. Then the reuse, that same bag, I will take it and go and come back. The recycle now, if I have all my waste, I will not just commingle them and pack in one place. I know, oh, this particular bin is for plastics. This bin is for can. This bin is for organic matter, some vegetables, some things like that. So I separate them. And so when the people collecting come, they will collect plastic neatly. And then they will collect can neatly. So it's not a matter of just packing everything and going to Olusosun side to go and dump. So if that is done, then we will have enough raw materials for recycling. And then what government is also doing is talking of this plastic thing by NESRA, trying to put out regulations that people don't just use materials that cannot be recycled. There are certain plastics that cannot be recycled. You use it and you put it back there, it goes into the gutter, goes into the drainage system, blocks everywhere. When it rains, everywhere is flooding, and so on. So if we go for those plastics that can be recycled, when we no longer use it, we now put it for recycling. And it will be recycled, and if it is the same product, it comes out, or a different thing comes out that is useful. So the government of Nigeria is doing something about it. Same with e-waste. You know, e-waste, even before the scavengers bring out those important metals that they're looking for, they have to burn it. If you see e-waste dumps, they burn it to bring so out, this out, and so on. And that is heavy air pollution. That air pollution is not just the smoke. It is those metals that are going into the air and are carried in the particulates. And then they're going in, people are breathing and taking in. Like, for instance, the PM 2.5. That one will go in and pass. It will not block and come out. Not like PM 10, those ones that the mucus in the nose can capture it and you can sneeze them out. But this one will go in and get into the blood system. And when it's carrying those metals, for instance, lead, it's just killing. You take it in straight to the bloodstream. So that's a serious issue. So if those the e-waste is properly handled, everything is selected and put where it's supposed to be, and then it's not just anybody that is going to burn it somewhere. The proper recycling is done, then air pollution in that aspect is also controlled. And the state government, the Nigerian government is also looking into all those different aspects.
Okay.
So,
Quickly, talk to us about purple air.
Okay. Purple air, it's a particular low-cost sensor.
Okay.
And what I mean by low-cost sensor, I think I have to talk of the one that is not low-cost first before I talk of the low-cost sensor. So there are standard reference monitors, but they are very few and very expensive. Like in Nigeria, for now, it's just one that we have in the U.S. Embassy in Lagos here. The standard reference monitor is very reliable and brings out good quality data, perfect quality data, but it's very expensive. That is one disadvantage. Another disadvantage is that with that cost, you cannot have many. So it will be in one place to only monitor the air at that place. So what of all the other parts of the country? Or let's say, for instance, Lagos. What happens? How do you monitor? If you put in from 50 to 100 or 150,000 of dollars in one equipment, monitoring at one location. So that's the essence for low-cost sensors. Low-cost sensors are those ones that are cheaper, relatively cheaper. The low-cost sensors, you can deploy them in several places. You can spread them all over, like for instance in Lagos. You can spread them all over, let's say 50 locations, even like 100 locations in Lagos, here and there. And that will capture, the spatial spread of pollutants will be easily captured. You will capture several locations, and then you'll be able to tell what is happening. You'll be able to easily capture the source of emission, like what we call source apportionment. You'll be able to apportion the source of a particular emission to a particular industry or so. In short, there are even some emissions that are coming out that you don't even know someone is doing something behind somewhere. But this will lead you to what is happening. So that's the essence of the low-cost sensors, which they cost maybe like $2,000, $3,000, also $4,000. Those are the low-cost sensors. So Purple Air is one of those low-cost sensors. They monitor what the big one is monitoring. But the other thing is that you cannot just put low-cost sensors. You have to go and validate with the big one. The validation, you will co-locate. What I mean by that is you locate it in the same place, under the same condition with the big one. And then you will see whatever difference is coming, the data that you're receiving, comparing with the data that you get from the standard monitoring station. You compare that data. And then the difference, you do what is called calibration and validation linear regression, and you'll be able to see the difference, and then you put a correction factor and know that if I place this particular low-cost sensor somewhere here, I have to apply this correction factor to match up with the value that it should be as seen in the standard reference monitor. So with that, you now know, for instance, the Purple Air. Okay, this Purple Air, I've co-located it with the standard reference monitor, and I've been able to find the factor that I could use to correct it when I'm calculating. Then I know that factor. So now I can spread Purple Air all over wherever I want. Put it here, put it there, and so on, and get the result and use that correction factor. Then I know that the value I have is really valid. It's okay. It's just as if I used that big standard reference monitor. So you can spread it like that. You still capture the same thing, and so on. So it makes it easy for, like, for instance, I see something happening in Olusosun dump site. Maybe it's burning like it happened in 2018. I can go and put Purple Air. Then I will see what is happening, the concentrations that are coming. The other one, you cannot move it. It's a big equipment. It's just stagnant in one place. And then you're having to go and monitor somewhere. You can't touch this one. You can't carry it. So you validate these small ones and you take it to where you want to. And you will monitor and you know exactly this is valid, this is good.
Okay, so do we have anyone around there?
Yes. Our Air Quality Monitoring Research Group, we have the Air Quality Monitoring Research Group of the University of Lagos, which I am the group lead.
Okay.
So we have deployed 5 Purple Air devices already in Lagos.
Okay.
We have one here in the campus.
Okay.
By the Central Research Lab, where we have our air quality lab.
Okay.
We have one in what do we call it? Ojodu Bega.
Okay.
That place. We have one in Apapa, Port Authority, and we have one in Ikorodu.
Okay.
We have one somewhere between Akoka here and Bariga, somewhere.
Okay.
Chemist. So, and we still have 2 that we're trying to still
That's nice. So very soon we'll be having our air updates.
Yes.
Yes, I'm actually looking forward to actually seeing air updates.
Apart from the Purple Air,
Okay.
I think I'll say a little more about Purple Air. Purple Air uses Wi-Fi,
Oh.
so and also uses power, electricity.
Mm.
So you must have electricity where you are, deploying the Purple Air. Maybe you connect it to electricity in a house, and then it has to be outside because it's outdoor device. So you link it. So and then you must put data, Wi-Fi, and so on.
No problem.
But we have another one, another local sensor now,
Okay.
which is a project. It's supplied by a project that is funded by the United States. Can I go on?
Continue,
Okay,
please.
yeah.
Continue, please.
It's funded by the United States Department of State missions. So, and in short, 15 of them came in on Monday from Uganda, because we are doing it in collaboration with Makerere University. And the manufacturers are called Echo, which is from Makerere University. So 15 of them came in. That one, it's different. That one, you don't need Wi-Fi. So it's like it works with what they call GSM. So the SIM is inbuilt there.
Okay.
And then you also don't need power because it comes with solar. So we can deploy that one anywhere, whether there is light, whether, interior place with no internet or so, you can deploy. You just set it and put it there and leave. So the solar power, the inbuilt, so it just runs.
That's that. I think we'll have to bring you back to actually talk more on Purple Air, but right now we are behind time.
Okay.
All right, and that's our program for today. Thank you, Dr. Rose Alani, environmental analyst chemist, faculty member of the Department of Chemistry, University of Lagos. But do not forget that the greatest threat to our planet is the belief that someone will save it for us. My name is Vina Peters. We'll be right back.